Hello and welcome back to everyone, respect and to NXT Halloween Havoc out of 10. Ricky Saints put his NXT title on the line against Trick Williams. JC Jane defended against Tatum Paxley, and Ethan Page was also defending his North American titles. And we got Hardy Boys versus Dark State for the championship. So a lot going on, and we're going to start things off with Javon Evans and Leon Slater versus Mr. Iguana and La Parker. While Evans and Slater had trouble matching the chaotic energy of their opponents, their sheer athleticism won out. The X Division champ won it with a Swanton 450. While the crowd enjoying the exciting action, it never felt like it needs to be on the PLE stage. This was thrown together, relying on the action. The young AG and X Division champ are consistently good enough to take over a tag division. The main issue is that Iguana and Parker never really had a chance to keep up. NXT took a big risk with betting on Parker for this spot, and he stood out as the weakest link. He was not as fast as his competition. His execution was sloppy. Iguana's fun and popular with the crowd, but his signature Star's a bit out of place with the high flyers. He works best messing with heels. The right team's obviously won, especially since they have finished business with the Dark State. But I'm going to give this a 4. As we then got the Day of the Dead North American Championship match between Ethan Page and Hio, the Dr. Warner Jr. And Page and Warner brutalised each other throughout this match, but things got extra personal after All Ego ripped his mask. The trio continued from Page, who pulled out the powder to blind his opponent before hitting Twisted Grim for the win. The crowd was less into this match due to the limited build of Wagner, but he delivered. He forced the crowd to engage, especially as it heated up. It always helps to work with a veteran as good as Page, who has consistently delivered NXT showstoppers. This may have stolen the show again while elevating Wagner. The way these two build up Page's disrespect, ripping and twisting his mask more sold why Wagner cheated in a technically fair manner. Hopefully this will lead to more appearances from the AAA Latin American champion NXT, who has the talent to become one of the company's breakout stars. Page's win was expected and the right call at this stage. He's been on a roll which should keep the gold at least until Raw or SmackDown are ready to call him up, which should be soon. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. We then got Zarya versus Blake Monroe for the North American Championship. When Stoll stood in Zarya's corner as a support, she was absolutely a distraction when it mattered most. The Glamour knocked down Soul's crutch, then threw Zarya into her friend when she checks her. This set up 2 Glamour shots out of the ring and inside to seal the win. It's likely Monroe was always going to win the championship on the night. It's a shame she didn't get the match with Soul, but the replacement played her role well. In particular, technical focus on Zarya's arm sold why she's such a good opponent. The execution wasn't perfect as Monroe continues to look a bit less comfortable in WWE. Zarya got a big spotlight with it, and even if she did not like she was ready to carry one of the major titles yet, Monroe has a chance to really redefine the championship, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how she does. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. As we then got JC Jane against Tatum Paxley. Jane had Paxley on the ropes throughout this match until Fatal Influence and Cullen were thrown out of the match. After a dramatic back and forth, both groups returned. Lizzie Dame distracted Jane to allow Paxley to hit the Psycho Trap for the win. The execution was not always crisp, but this was an emotional journey, playing to the crowd's love of Paxley. They wanted to see the underdog pick it up, and the pace of this match had the crowd at the pitch down the stretch, selling the emotional high of the evening as Paxley finally won the Women's Championship. Paxley made her debut with NXT in 2022 and has consistently established herself as a rising star. However, it felt like it was never going to be her time. Luckily, this was the moment NXT committed to her, and she really now has a chance to showcase herself. This likely should have been the main event, but it was a really, really good moment. 9 out of 10 from me. As we then got Broken Hardys versus Dark State in a Broken Rules match for the Tag Team Championship. Even after taking out the Stragon Sugars and Cutler James, this match turned the wrong way for the Hardys, who went down a ladder-assisted Doomsday device through a table on Jeff to seal the win. This was a pure plunder match, heavily relying on TLC. Luckily, that kind of felt like Matt and Jeff were able to keep up with them. Once James and Sugars were taking out, this got fun, especially showcasing Dark State's aces. It was obvious Jeff and Matt were struggling down the stretch physically, but Lennox and Griffin looked like they could have gone a while longer. While it would have felt off for the Hardy Boys to beat the younger hungry team, especially with some help, so it's the right call for them to move the title backstage. It does make sense. It does feel unnecessary though for the Hardys to lose so soon. The wins at the stage for Dark State's gone a range, but Evans and Slater definitely are coming for the title, so whether it lasts long or not, who knows. 6 out of 10. We then got Ricky Saints, who proved himself as NXT champion throughout the match with Trick Williams, taking Trick's best shots and winning after a spear and tornado DDT. After Saints' celebration, the camera went to the back where the Cullens celebrated, and Tatum Paxley promised even more in NXT starting on Tuesday. On a night with multiple memorable matches, this was not really at the level required for the main event. They worked a highly personal heavyweight clash at a methodical pace and early flurry. The back and forth taunts played decently to the crowd, but this crowd was never really invested. Even with a flurry of offense from Trick, it should have been enough to win against Mace. It never really felt like he was a true threat to Saints. This was worked in the main event slot to spell the Absolute One as the true top hider, but I'm not really sure if it worked. Maybe Paxley should have finished, but yeah, I'll give it a 5 out of 10. And overall, it was an up and down event, as you might expect from NXT. In particular, the main event didn't land, but I thought there was real good stuff, including the Broken Rules match, JC James, I keep mentioning, Blake Monroe, All Ego, Ethan Page match. So yeah, there was a lot to get interested in. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10.
That's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.